Welcome to week 8, Explore the Bible. We're finishing up here the book of 1 Thessalonians in chapter 5 today, and excited about this passage. Hey, I hope you had a great Easter. I hope the Good Friday, if you did a Good Friday service or whatever, a Easter Sunday, I hope it was wonderful for you, and we're excited about this week and what we're going to learn as we look at the end of this book. Before we dive into 1 Thessalonians 5, be sure you subscribe to our channel, like, comment, share. If you've got questions, put those in the comments. We'll do what we can to answer those. All right, let's see what he has to say. Paul writes, about the times and the seasons, brothers and sisters, you do not need anything to be written to you, for you yourselves know very well that the day of the Lord will come just like a thief in the night. Okay, Paul has been in Thessaloniki, right? He spent time there. He started that church. And so he has taught them things, and he's saying here, you've heard this. You've heard my teaching about this. You don't need me to talk to you about this. I've told you what Christ has said, where Christ has talked about the different things that have to happen, and then has said nobody knows when. So he knows these things, right? And they've been taught that. He says, I don't need to tell you anything about the times and the seasons. You've already heard that. He says, you know that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. That is, the day of the Lord is going to come suddenly. It's going to come where many will not be expecting it. It will come in a way that many will be caught off guard. Okay? And then he says this, when they say peace and security, then sudden destruction will come upon them like labor pains on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. But you, brothers and sisters, are not in the dark for this day to surprise you like a thief. Okay, I love this because I think sometimes we forget all of the story, right? We forget all of the passage. He says he will come like a thief, but he says you shouldn't be surprised because you're looking, you're watching. As believers, you're expecting, waiting, anticipating the return. He will come like a thief to those who aren't ready, to those who aren't prepared, to those who aren't watching, to those who don't expect him to return. For them, it will be a surprise like a thief. But to a believer, it should not come as a surprise. You should not be caught off guard because you should be on alert at all times. And I want you to notice, he says, they say, here he's talking about the others, those outside of salvation, they say peace and security. Everything's fine. Look, it's all good. And then sudden destruction comes upon them. And boy, look at the way he describes that. Look, we need to be ready because destruction comes upon those who are not ready. Sudden destruction comes, total destruction. They will be destroyed. If you are not ready for the return of Christ, you will be destroyed. This is a harsh thing, isn't it? This immediate removal from the Lord's presence. It's tough. It's difficult. There is no escape from this. You cannot talk your way out of it. It'll be like the flood when Noah was there and suddenly it came and those who were not prepared were left outside the ark. It'll be like Sodom and Gomorrah. Though were going about their lives, they thought everything was okay, and then suddenly destruction rains down from heaven. This is the sudden destruction that comes on the whole earth, those who are not prepared. So you need to be ready for the return. And then he says, for you are all children of light and children of the day. We do not belong to the night or the darkness. So then let us not sleep like the rest, but let us stay awake and be self-controlled. For those who sleep at night, and those who get drunk at night. He's encouraging, reminding them, listen, you need to be ready because you're a child of the light. You're saved. You know he's going to return. You need to be prepared. You need to be ready for the return. You need to live in anticipation, eagerly awaiting the return of Christ. Awake, not asleep, right? Alert, not drunk, but sober and alert. It's different than when awake meant alive. It means alert. It means living like those who believe that Jesus is coming back. And what does that mean? To live like someone who actually believes Jesus is going to return. To believe that this is an event that's going to certainly occur, and it could actually occur at any moment. It could occur at any moment. Those in the dark, they're not making preparation. They're not ready. They're disregarding the signs. They disregard the truth that's out there. The things that Jesus says to watch for, they're not paying attention to those things. And the truth is that we may not realize all of those signs, but we'll see some of those things. We should recognize them. Those who are wasting their days and their nights in foolishness. Those who are focused on their own pleasure. their own self-will, being obsessive about things that are not necessary to be obsessive about, are not ready. But listen, believers need to be ready. We need to be prepared. We need to be alert and looking. Those who are in the light live a different life. He says, since we belong to the day, let us be self-controlled and put on the armor of faith and love and a helmet of the hope of salvation. For God did not appoint us to wrath, but to obtain salvation through our Lord Jesus Christ, who died for us, so that whether we are awake or asleep, we may live together with him. Okay, we belong to the day. We're believers. We're in the light, right? So we should live as people who are in the light, who are in the know, who are aware. That should be evident in our lives in the way that we live. So we live self-controlled. We don't just give ourselves away. Just whatever we'll do. We just live by the urges and the whims of the fleshly nature. Just whatever you want to do, you just go do it. We don't live like that, right? We're self-controlled. We put on the armor of faith. Because, you hear a little bit of Ephesians chapter 6 here, right? You're putting on your armor. You're believing. You're in a battle. You need to be protected. We put on love. We walk in love with everyone. We have the helmet of the hope of salvation. I love that, Paul's using. You can hear Ephesians 6 coming out here in the armor of God, right? But I love that idea, the helmet of salvation. The helmet which protects the head, and salvation is the head, the whole body. It's all of who we are, but certainly it is our minds, right? It is Romans 12 that to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So all of this, he's saying, needs to describe your life, right? For God did not appoint us to wrath, but to obtain salvation through Christ. So we're not meant for wrath. We're meant to be saved. That's what we're meant, to be saved. To give our lives to Christ who died for us, so that whether we are awake or asleep, we may live together with him. Okay, here, now he's going back to chapter 4 right here and talking about those who have already fallen asleep, those who have died, and now are get raised up from the grave, right? And those who are awake, that is those who are alive when he returns. So, you see these two metaphors that he uses for life, and we don't want to get that confused, right? That they're both of those things are there. We want to make sure that we see that here he's talking about life and death. Whether you're alive or dead, you're going to live together with him. Therefore, he says, encourage one another and build each other up as you are already doing. Therefore, encourage one another. Encourage one another. Build one another up. There are times when people are going to doubt. There are times when people are going to wonder if Jesus is really coming back. Is this real? Encourage one another. Don't take that doubt as a sign of having no salvation. Encourage them. Maybe there are things that we go through where we can question and we can wonder, and that's okay. But encourage one another. And there are times when people want to give up. Encourage them, because there's going to be a time when you're going to want to give up, and you want somebody to encourage you. And we want to build each other up. We want to teach these things and then uphold them. Sometimes, we're the one who's going and letting somebody put an arm around our shoulder so we can carry them along. But sometimes we're the one who needs to put our arms on other people's shoulders and let them carry us along. This is the Christian life. And he says, you're already doing it. And it's a popular phrase from Thessalonians, right? But do it even more. What you're doing is right. Keep doing it. In fact, do it even more. Now, I hope this has helped as you study this passage, as you teach it. Man, God bless you. Thank you so much for doing that. Really appreciate those of you willing to step out and lead others to knowledge and depth. So thank you so much for doing that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like, comment. If you got any questions, ask them. I'll answer them. If I can, I'll give it my best shot anyway. Share it with others. All right. We'll see you next time.